Know how a professor feels. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being part of today's Community Convocation, which opens the 2022-23 academic year. I'm Upinder Bawa. I serve as the Vice President of Information Technology and the Chief Information Officer for the university. Gathered here in McLaren Hall are several hundred faculty, librarians, staff, and students. Many others from our community, including parents and family members of our new and returning students, as well as our alumni from across the country and around the world, are joining us virtually. Welcome, everyone. A note about our face coverings. USF requires face coverings to be worn indoors to help prevent the spread of COVID. I've taken mine off, as will others, while at the podium. Please, we ask everyone in the audience to remain masked. Today, you will hear from members of this community how, as a community, we are embracing the opportunities and responding to the many challenges in today's world. And you will hear how a common theme of innovation is helping to guide our next steps. As we begin, please welcome Anna Karen Barragan, one of our USF's resident ministers and a graduate student in our School of Education, with an invocation.
Thank you. Dear University of San Francisco community, what a joy it is to be here in person. It is truly a blessing for all of us, I think. Today I speak with you with my heart in my hand, a little broken, a little deconstructing, and holding on to the roots that allow me to move forward. My roots are Latin American, where the maize, the corn, the mountains, the sun, and the rain sing memories of love, tenderness, and ancestral wisdom. They accompany me as Mary accompanied her son. They walk with me and whistle the tales of my people. But in that journey, the wind also tells me other stories, those that fill my eyes with tears, press my soul with preoccupations, and stop me to think. Why am I here today? Why am I studying a doctorate in Catholic educational leadership? Why USF? What good is to the families of more than 150,000 missing people in Mexico that I am here? What good is to the 7 women who will be murdered today in Mexico that I'm here in front of you? What good is to the religious men arrested last week in Nicaragua that we are gathered here for an hour? Amid all these questions, the faces of many professors, classmates, staff, and service personnel who I have shared 20 years of Jesuit education and formation come to mind. People committed to a unique university project, innovative, disruptive, and based on justice, and trusted in a tradition of more than 500 years. And it is in those faces that I find hope of responding to what the president of the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities in the United States and Canada, Michael Garanzini, called the hungers of our generation. 1, the hunger for integrated knowledge. We, the students of USF, require a robust and innovative formation that integrates our intellectual, affective, and volitional capacities to understand the structural, social, political, and economic problems, and to give a more humane, just, and supportive response. Therefore, I pray that our classrooms become a public agora of denunciation, dialogue, and creativity, in which, together with other actors, we make Bell Hook's idea of making the classroom the most radical space for new possibilities a reality. Or as I heard from my Dean of the School of Education, Shabnam Korela Assad, that we advance justice through education. 2, the hunger for a moral compass. We increasingly see hate discourses in which collective responsibilities are ignored and minimized, and the significant majorities, the excluded and the marginalized, remain collateral damage. Therefore, I pray that we go to the frontiers. To the external ones, yes, but as my fellow resident minister Jesus de la Torre said, to the internal ones as well, our own margins. I invite our entire community, the leadership team, the trustees, professors, staff, students, alumni, and service area colleagues al encuentro con el otro, to encounter each other. I invite us to feel our joys deeply, but also to reflect and act concretely on our failings, inconsistencies, and the historical debt we have with our own USF community and the society that is outside our physical limits. Let us be willing to come down from this mountain of privilege and meet with a humanity that is agonizing for justice. 3. Hunger for community. The University of San Francisco is a symbol of welcome. I could even say that it's part of the DNA of this institution. Now it's our turn to move to a feeling of belonging and identity. Let us celebrate our Jesuit Catholic tradition, and also those identities and intersectionalities that make us what we are today. Let us not run away from any of these identities. On the contrary, let us embrace them. Let us allow ourselves to meet, which today, and in countries like the one we live in it is a revolutionary act of love and generosity, a commitment to life. Therefore, I pray that we are an institution that offers a genuine connection and incorporates a way of living together based on respect and equity. An institution that never loses its integrity. May we never use minorities to justify our diversity. Rather, may our diversity be our greatest potential. 4. Hunger for a global paradigm. As an international student, sharing the classroom with my classmates and professor is a wonder. It has not been an easy road to share our wounds, positionalities, and ideas, for our present work has taught us to reject, judge, and limit the other, the one that is different from myself. However, at USF, I have learned from the common struggles from south to north, from east to west, on the defense of human rights. May we be mustard seeds, that even though we are the smallest seeds, as Jesus says in the gospel, we become one of the tallest trees where birds come to nest. Let us be example of radical hospitality, global citizens capable of sheltering and caring for the hearts and lives of many people, including our own. 5. Hunger for an adult spirituality. I pray that we continue to create spaces that sustain our students, that give meaning to their lives, a community in which their faith and beliefs are fully embraced, at an institution that does not cast aside its own. May our faith traditions unite to make us a stronger humanity, striving for justice, love, and solidarity. May we be a source of liberation in community. May ideologies and doctrines never separate us from our most sacred possessions, our humanity, and our common home. Finally, I pray that the University of San Francisco never loses its reason for being, for existing. May each of us be able to place our university mission at the center of our actions, because therein lies the reason why we are here together. Let us be a community of friends. Let us be conscious, competent, compassionate, committed people. Let us be mustard seeds. Let us be people for and with others. Let us be tradition and innovation. Let us be the University of San Francisco, capable of transforming the world from here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Juana. I now have the pleasure of introducing to you Ethan Lee Bellows. Ethan is the president of USF Undergrad Student Government, the Associate Students of USF. A senior psychology major from San Diego, Ethan will narrate a short introductory video and share a few words.
Innovation. I hear that word a lot. What does it mean? To invent? To change? To build something new? Is it creation or destruction? Is it and or is it or? What is its function, its purpose, its value, its cost? Whom does it help? Who does it serve? Does it serve you? Does it serve me? Does it serve all of us?
Good morning. My name is Ethan Lee Bellows, and I am the Senate President of the Associated Students here at the University of San Francisco, also known as ASUSF. My job is to ensure that every student voice is heard and carried forward in order to inspire progress and promote positive change here at this community. 3 years ago, I had no idea who I was or what I wanted. Frankly, I just woke up every day and went wherever the wind took me. And when it was time to pick a college, I still had no idea what I wanted. I thought to myself that if anything, I wanted to make sure that I attended a university that would throw me out into the world as a good person, a person with strong moral fiber, prepared to fight for justice and equity. Plus, growing up in the laid-back surfer town of San Diego, I figured a bustling metropolis nicknamed the cool gray city of love was not a bad place to be. In these past 3 years, I've immersed myself in the various opportunities that USF has to offer. As a freshman, I was fortunate enough to be a fellow in the Magis Emerging Leadership Program. Since then, I've strived to embody the Ignatian value of Magis, a determined striving for personal excellence in all that I do. With Magis as my North Star, I've had the privilege of working alongside city and community leaders to promote justice and equity. Along the way, I've learned that while having Magis as a value at its best can lead to innovation in creating a more equitable and just world, at its worst, it can be dangerous, leading some to a desire to change things only so far as it furthers their self-interest. In my time at USF, I've been privileged to be surrounded by students, faculty, and staff who are committed, who have a commitment to innovation, not simply for the sake of innovation, but because of their fierce and undying commitment to their deep compassion for others. I'm looking forward to working alongside a university community rooted in such strong values, and I cannot wait to see where our innovation takes us. And with that, it's my great pleasure to introduce President Paul Fitzgerald, the 20th President of the University of San Francisco.
Thank you, Ethan. Ethan is typically wonderful and a great representative of our university student body. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for everything you're doing along with the Senate staff and student leadership across the undergraduate and graduate spectrum to make us an inclusive, excellent, loving, and purposeful community. As we begin, I want to pause and acknowledge that we are on the land of the Ramaytush Ohlone people. We recognize that USF's other campuses and locations extend beyond San Francisco and also rest upon land whose original stewards are still among us and with us. Many of you joining from throughout the United States and across the world are also living on land with complex histories of the treatment of the original peoples. USF's Indigenous Engagement Project seeks to recognize the past and current experiences of Indigenous people, honor their resiliency and their resistance, and stand with them. For our Indigenous USF community members, we recognize you, and we are thankful that you've chosen to be a part of our diverse and united community. Over the past 2 years, everyone participating in today's convocation, everyone has experienced extremely challenging times. These past 2 years of pandemic, but also incidents of just heartbreaking racism and violence, whether at Uvalde or in Buffalo. There has been great pain in our community and in our individual extended communities, the loss of family members and friends and colleagues. Because USF is a community committed to working for justice, asking difficult but necessary questions, finding creative solutions, and learning about and supporting each other in this journey, we have together arrived at a point where we can gather in person this morning. Deo gratias. I thank each and every one of you for all you have done, the resiliency, the creativity, the imagination, but also the hard work, showing up for family and friends in your personal lives, and then coming here and giving your all to help our students and each other weather this amazingly horrible storm. But it seems that the dawn has broken, the winds have died down, and we can again gather. Today, I am thinking about two threads that are now woven together into the fabric of our university community. Last month, USF joined hundreds of other universities, Jesuit universities around the world, there are 179 of them actually, to celebrate the 500th anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola's conversion. This was the day when Ignatius, the soldier, struck by a cannonball, began his transformation into Ignatius the pilgrim. For the past year, Jesuit schools, colleges, universities, and other ministries have been encouraged to act as the founder of the Jesuits did, to proceed in new and bold ways at the invitation of our hearts, at the invitation of that soft, whispering voice that asks us to do the more perfect thing, the better thing for each of us individually. With that thread of reflection and action modeled in St. Ignatius's life, today we begin another thread, the implementation of a 5-year strategic plan that was discerned and discussed and arose from this community. Together we have shaped a vision for the year 2027, which will be here in just the blink of an eye. And we aspire that USF be a leading Jesuit university for diversity, inclusivity, academic excellence, innovation, distinguished by our experiential and civically engaged education, our caring and equitable and global community, and our contributions to social and environmental justice. Two quick little words. I was at Boston College 2 weeks ago with Chinyere Apara and Alice Kaswan from the School of Law for a meetup of leaders and people from all 178 Jesuit universities. And two of the things that captured our attention the most, one is climate change. So 50 of us have already made this pledge to become Laudato Si universities. Father General Sosa was there, and he challenged the other 100 to get on board now. And also we talked about the 100 million human beings who are classified as refugees by the United Nations. 100 million people have been forcibly crossing international boundaries because of legitimate fear of persecution. But there's another 100 million who are internally displaced in places like Ukraine. And then there are millions of people who are migrants because of climate change. So this massive dislocation of humanity and climate change are inextricably linked up together. So how do we as a university respond? We respond by saying that we will be an innovator in renewing our civically engaged education, driven by scholarly, creative, and professional endeavors, those of our faculty and of our staff, that offer our students local and global experiences that cultivate rigorous thought, hone future-ready skills, nurture the whole person, and prepare them to solve some of these seemingly intractable problems that we, the old folks, have left for them. A global and diverse university that supports the well-being and participation of all community members. An ethical and engaged partner with our local, national, and global communities, with our alumni. That's City Hall, it's the state capitol, it's Washington, D.C. through the Leo T. McCarthy Center. It's all of the internships that faculty guide students through. It's all of those immersion programs that staff lead students on, ways that are transformative, that allow our students to find that moral compass, as Ethan just designated. We want USF to be a destination for emerging lifelong learning opportunities. Go from a dynamic institution able to respond rapidly and transparently to a changing world. This vision will need to be animated by efforts at every level in the university, and implementing it requires all of us to show up. We will be hearing more about the participation and engagement opportunities from Provost Opara and the Strategic Plan Advisory Council this morning and in coming weeks. We are solidly positioned to succeed in these efforts. In fact, the foundation of this ambitious plan was laid years ago, guided by many principles that Ignatius has been teaching us. Now, I'd like to offer a couple of specific updates and observations that reflect this morning's theme of innovation. Our hoped-for integration with the San Francisco Art Institute at the end did not seem financially advisable to us. So we put that on hold. But in the meantime, we have not stopped in our efforts and our project and our plans to expand the arts here at the University of San Francisco, thanks to a very, very generous gift from our alumnus, Gordon Getty. Hey, Gordon. And our long-sought, Charlie Cross, has been working on this for a decade. We finally purchased 250-270 Masonic, the blood bank. It now belongs to us. This will provide much-needed state-of-the-art research space for our lab scientists and other space for other learning opportunities and research projects for our community. The Innovation Hive in Harney, stop in sometime. It's usually a mess, which is awesome because the students are in there working on projects. They're working on all kinds of innovative ideas, not only our engineering students, but other students as well. It's a marvelously creative place of imagination. In academic fairs, we are seeing excellent progress with BASE, our Black Achievement, Success, and Engagement program. It's an initiative that offers high-impact academic and co-curricular programming, and it is fantastic. It is awesome. It is far quicker in reaching a level of success than we had even hoped for. And we have other new projects coming along for our Latinx students and our transfer excellence and belonging initiatives. We had new student convocation in the church yesterday. Imagine St. Ignatius Church. It was full. Maybe 1,600 first-year students and 325 transfer students. There were students in the first balcony. That's how full it was. It was awesome. We all embrace this return to the classroom, to the lab, to the studio. But we don't want to forget that all of us, students, faculty, staff, we were innovators during this pandemic. We learned new ways of doing pretty much everything. I see Alex Maurer over there, who put striped tape down the hallways and had go this way on this side of this tape and go that way on that side of the tape. We prepared the campus for all these eventualities. And then, Upinder and his team brought out all these new technologies, and faculty learned how to use Zoom and link it to Canvas and link it to Handshake and link it to everything else so that our students could remain on track. And now that we return in person, don't forget all these new skills and all these new ways of teaching and learning that we picked up. Some of them we're going to hold on to for a long time. High flex, for example. The past few days, I've been fortunate to meet many of the newest members of our community during move-in and orientation week. I'm glad that some of you are here today. So I invite you to learn a bit more about this incoming class of 2026.
One is a skateboarder, professional. One is a rock climber, competitive. Some game, run online businesses, dance hula, make films, write music, lift weights, and produce podcasts. They are 1,600 strong. They come from 46 states and 49 countries. 97% receive some form of financial aid. Average GPA 3.64. Nearly 30% are the first in their families to go to college. They are the first-year students in the class of 2026, and they are here to change the world.
If there are any new first-year students, transfer students here with us this morning, would you please stand? You and the other 1,540, you belong here. You belong here. No sooner were these newest members of the USF community arrived, they had to navigate the disruption when we discovered a gas leak out here just outside the building. A little nick in the line finally rusted out and opened up, thankfully, and thanks to the work of facilities management, who actually worked overnight to dig it up, patch it, have PG&E inspect the work, and then turn the gas back on, and then light the buildings one by one. No one was injured. Everything got kind of just shifted around a little bit, and it was great. It was a morning of cold showers. Sorry about that. But you could go to Corette if you really wanted to. Today, together, we all have a great deal to look forward to in the coming weeks and months. New classes, new friends, new opportunities to participate in co-curricular activities, attend lectures, readings, performances, and gallery exhibitions. In a few weeks, well, in a month or so, we're going to celebrate the successful conclusion of our comprehensive campaign. We finished the campaign on time and at $312 million, so we surpassed our target. And we're already at work on the next one. We're in the quiet phase. But, we found that we have a lot of very successful alumni and friends who care about what we're doing and want to support us. Our Division I fall sports teams are gearing up for their season, and it was unbelievable, the student turnout for the first men's soccer game last Wednesday evening. We had that all last year as well, so I hope and expect that Division I athletics, but club sports and intramurals is one aspect of the social life of our university. But there'll be other things. When we celebrate the conclusion of the campaign, we'll have an alumnus, Michael Franti, back on campus to perform, but he'll be opened by Khalil Shabazz, a graduate student and a basketball player, and he's got a tremendous singing voice. Who knew? Pat Lee, Father Pat Lee, are you here this morning? We have a new rector in the Jesuit community, Father Pat Lee, who's coming back to USF. He earned his doctorate here in the School of Education a while back. We do have the new chairman of the Board of Trustees, Jack Boland. Jack, if you could stand, please. We have a wonderful Board of Trustees. We brought some new members on. A few people have termed out. So it's a self-governing, self-perpetuating board who oversee the university and keep us true to our mission. Jack is an alum, son of an alum, and father of an alum. So he gets us. Now, I am delighted to introduce your Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Chinyere Opara. This summer, Provost Opara marked her first anniversary, although it seemed like 5 years, I don't know. So I'm thrilled and grateful to have you here.
Thank you so much, Father Paul. Good morning, family. It is so beautiful to be here in community with you here today. So I've also been thinking a lot about innovation. Thank you, Ethan, for your wonderful remarks this morning. And specifically, innovation at USF. And I've too been thinking about St. Ignatius. He invented new ways of doing and being that have shaped Jesuit education for centuries, from new ways of discerning one's calling to educating the whole person. His example is particularly relevant for us at this moment as we seek to reimagine Jesuit education that advances justice and sustainability and prepares our students to succeed in a rapidly changing world. This bold vision demands creativity and courage. And our success will depend on our willingness to try new things and take good risks. In the words of Superior General Arturo Sosa, who laid out an inspiring framework for Jesuit education at a recent International Association of Jesuit Universities conference in Boston that Father Paul and I had the pleasure to attend a couple of weeks ago. To prepare the future requires discerning the present, and to discern implies risk. Risk-taking does not arise naturally from the dynamic of institutions that with great effort have constructed an identity, a successful way of education and generating knowledge, a success that makes them proud and that is recognized in the circles in which they move and enjoy great prestige. To discern is to open oneself to something new. This year, we will have many opportunities to open ourselves to new possibilities. We will begin the process of reimagining our core curriculum and undergraduate degree requirements with our Jesuit values and social justice vision at the center. We'll launch a curricular transformation initiative in order to ensure that we infuse our degree programs with our global, anti-racism, DEI, environmental justice, and Jesuit mission perspectives. I will develop several new academic programs in areas of high demand and high community impact. We're going to need to tap into everyone's most creative, artistic, scholarly, and administrative energies. From our talented and diverse professors and librarians who care so deeply about our students, to the staff and academic coaches who are dedicated to their success. I'd like to share with you a few of the many academic innovations that our faculty and staff are currently exploring in their units and schools. A Bachelor's of Science in Public Health that will promote health as a human right, training students to address health inequities and identifying structural barriers to improving population health. A Bachelor's in Neuroscience that will foreground inclusivity, work to eradicate bias in algorithms, and partner with tech to push society towards embracing neurodiversity. An initiative to decolonize our university and begin a journey towards reconciliation with Native peoples, starting from indigenous worldviews and cultural protocols. A Bachelor's of Arts in Management to help working professionals in the private, public, and nonprofit sectors to complete their undergraduate degrees and, should they wish to, pursue a streamlined pathway to the master's degree in the spirit of St. Ignatius, who sought out higher education later in life. A new doctoral concentration in racial justice and education, and a bilingual mental health focus in the Masters in Family Therapy program to meet the needs of this current moment. And a biotech and bioentrepreneurship major offering students the rare opportunity at the undergrad level to combine the science and business sides of biotech. I hope that you're as excited as I am at these incredible creative and innovative ventures. I'm also excited about the fresh perspectives and new voices who are joining our ranks in academic affairs, and I want to introduce you to some of them. First, we have 5 Gerardo Marin Diversity Fellows joining us in the fall, the largest cohort in many years. We also have 31 outstanding and brilliant faculty joining the USF community this fall. And we will have outstanding new staff joining in academic affairs, as well as many units across the university. Would all incoming Gerardo Marin Fellows, new faculty, and staff from across the university please stand so that we can acknowledge you? Welcome. We're so glad that you're here. I asked some of our new faculty and newly tenure-track faculty this following question: why USF and why now? Let's hear some of their answers in their own voices.
At every university, students learn how to ask and answer big questions, but the knowledge we gain often remains hidden within our insular intellectual communities. I'm grateful to start this next leg of my career at USF, where we are encouraged to use our knowledge to transform minds and structures.
The location of USF provides faculty and students with an unparalleled opportunity to collaborate with a wide variety of businesses and bridge the gap between academia and industry. It is my great pleasure to teach and mentor the diverse community of students at USF and help with training the next generations of business experts.
If the questions are why USF and why now, the answer must be that in this moment, as we step away from civility, now when we are so fractured, so unforgiving of others, USF's focus on social justice and being a part of an equitable world, which honors us all, is in line with my humanistic and artistic goals.
Because of its mission statement and students, making the world a more humane and just place has always been part of my principles, and it's wonderful to be part of a university that has made it theirs too. I'm excited to work and get to know all the wonderful students. It was the perfect time. As cliche as it may sound, I've always wanted to teach and be a professor. I used my training years to learn more about pedagogy, and I'm excited to join my fellow colleagues.
I value spaces where people can be their full, authentic selves, where challenging conversations about power and privilege are foundational rather than inconvenient. And as a previous Gerardo Marin Fellow, USF School of Education has modeled this for me the last 2 years. I look forward to continuing to collaborate towards more humanizing forms of justice in and through education and research, which are so desperately needed in this historical moment.
So some of our new faculty and fellows came this weekend during orientation to meet some of our Black students and our Latinx students, and they were already on fire for what they're going to be doing here. So I encourage you to go to our webpage where all of their answers to why USF, why now can be found. So in addition to our new faculty, our academic leadership is beginning this new year with 4 new permanent deans and a returning dean who's entering her second term. Would Dean Eileen Fang, Dean Sean Calhoun, and Dean Shabnam Koraila Assad please stand so that we can recognize you. In addition to Dean Fang, Dean Calhoun, and Dean Koraila Hazard, 2 academic leaders are new to our community. Many of you have met them or read about them, but I want to take a moment to have them speak about what brought them to USF. So would Dean Ehemjans and Dean Eileen Fry-Bowers please come to the stage?
What a coincidence. My outfit matches with the one I'm... my favorite outfit. What can I say? My name is Atko Erhimjans. I am the new dean of the School of Management. I was born and raised in Mongolia, which is home to one of the world's last surviving pastoral nomadic cultures. My grandparents were nomadic herders, and my parents were first in their families to work and live in a city. To this day, close to 40% of the population still lives a nomadic life. Coming from that culture, environmental stewardship and community service have always been core values for me. As a result of that upbringing, my research and teaching over the past decade have focused on corporate social responsibility, business ethics, and sustainable finance. I was attracted to USF's diverse community, including many first-generation students, students of color, and international students. I was also attracted to USF's intentional focus on environmental justice and positive social impact. I am joining USF at an exciting time, just like the university-wide effort to reimagine the core curriculum. School of Management will be working on reorganizing the business curriculum around grand challenges that we face as a society and sustainable development goals. I'm delighted for the opportunity to work with the visionary leadership leadership team at USF, my fellow deans, and the School of Management community.
I was drawn to the University of San Francisco because it truly embodies the Jesuit tradition and the corresponding values of cura personalis and people for others. As a healthcare professional and advocate, I've always believed that the mind, the body, and the spirit are indivisible. I firmly hold that health is a fundamental, foundational human right, which is necessary for each individual to actualize their full potential as human beings. I am grateful for the opportunity to join USF at this crucial moment in time as we continue to address the effects of COVID, racial and social injustices, and ever-present world discord. We live the mission of USF at the School of Nursing and Health Professions. We prepare and empower our students to innovate, collaborate, and take risks to develop health and transform healthcare. We lead in the efforts to eliminate health inequity locally and globally. I am so proud to be here because we are changing the health of the world from here. Thank you.
Congratulations and welcome, Dean Armtas and Dean Freibauers, otherwise known as ECP. In fact, welcome to all of those who are new to USF, and thank you for choosing to be a part of this remarkable community. Now, please welcome back Father Fitzgerald.
And I'm just happy, too, that we're starting an academic year without anyone in senior leadership with the term interim in front of their name. So that's a wonderful thing, too. The stability and the quality and the strength of the leadership across the university in every department is amazing. And I'm deeply grateful to you across the campus and across the state and beyond to help us so much. I joined Provost Chinyere and Vice President Pinder in welcoming our newest community members. You've chosen well, and we're grateful that you've chosen to join us. Thanks too to the USF parents and alumni who are watching remotely and joining us this morning. Your ideas, your input, your suggestions are all very important to the quality of our work. As we close, I am very pleased to introduce to you a USF graduate. Alumnus Victor Inzunza received his Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing from the College of Arts and Sciences back in the year 2015. He is a writer, a Marine Corps veteran, and is currently a policy analyst with the Swords to Plowshares organization. He provides outreach and technical assistance to other community-based veteran service agencies. We are honored to have him with us today to read a selection from his work. Victor.
This is the part where I'm really hoping I don't fall off of this stage. It's really great to be back here. USF, it's not an over-exaggeration, really did change my life. I lived in Stockton, California before I came here, and it was a really big jump to come over here to the city. A lot of people told me it's expensive, it's dangerous, it's all of these things, and maybe you shouldn't go. But I didn't listen to them, and I'm glad that I didn't. So I just wanted to say that for all of you who are coming here, it's great to take that leap, and you never know what's going to happen. So that's kind of how I felt about my time at University of San Francisco. Sometimes I almost say University of the Pacific, which is where I went to first, but everything's a step, right? And it's always good to remember where you came from. So in the spirit of newness, I know a lot of everyone was talking about new beginnings, innovation, change, coming through difficult experiences. So I wrote a new poem that I've never read before in front of everyone. And so I hope you enjoy it. It's called Verse, Chorus, Fire. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. Please carry my body into the ocean with the rocks and birds, though I won't hear them. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. The music of nothing, the mind a wave. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. Life, the tide, washed across the stars. Their fire outlasts our dreams. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. In summer, I hide a moonless river, tree stumps full of snakes. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. I'm not scared, so come. I can smell grass burn. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. Skin of earth burning. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. From the radius of yellow field, trash. The edge of the overpass, open and windless. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. Call the night a dream, broken in two. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. Half of a morning requires eyes to blink of sky. Call it song, scream. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. Loudly I was born flameless, cut cold from womb. It's not enough fire. The wave came down, drown. That's it.
Thank you, Victor. That was beautiful. And thank you to everyone who joined us here today and on the Hilltop campus, of course, virtually across the nation and across the world. Best wishes for a successful year. Thank you.